basketball history, why don't we start with your names, where you're based and how long you've been playing basketball?
So I'm Sue, I'm based in Ocean Grove and I've been playing basketball for about 7 years.
Steve Saynor, most people call me Stav, and I'm from Sale in Gippsland and I've been playing since I was 13.
Gerard Higgins from Ocean Grove, been playing about 35 years.
Fantastic. Welcome. We can't really tell the story about Masters basketball in Australia without telling the Wildcats story. Wildcats is arguably the fastest growing and most progressive basketball club in Masters basketball today. Gerard, perhaps we can start with you. Take us back to the start of the Wildcats Masters basketball journey.
Yeah, sure, George. Look, I was trying to get some dates and everything to be specific, but I couldn't get them. Wildcats Masters started somewhere in the 90s. It was with Bill Jeffs, Squizzy Taylor and Dave Laurie predominantly. They had a couple of other, or Bill had a couple of other teaching mates, Leon McAlpine and a couple of them I'm not sure of. They were playing Masters basketball at the time in Latrobe Valley and also out at Mean. And then all of a sudden the Australian Masters, I think it was in 95, came up and they thought it was too good an opportunity not to be involved, so they put a side in and started from there.
Yeah, great. And there's a couple of other personalities that were there right at the early days of the club formation. Squizzy Taylor was part of the Wildcats history?
Yeah, he was. He started out. Squizzy passionate about his basketball, loved it to bits, and they just said, look, let's get involved in this, we just love it, and went from there.
And Bill Jeffs is another one of those people that's been part of the backbone of Wildcats Masters for a long time. Yeah,
Bill's been, he was one of the foundings. I think they got together. It was basically Dave Laurie, Squizzy and Bill, and they just love their basketball. And they get to a stage like we all did and think, well, you can't do it anymore. And then there's this other avenue that they saw and they said, let's get involved and let's do something about it and get our side together, have a bit of fun.
Yeah, great. When you think about the history of the club, were there some particular milestones, some things that happened along the way which are important parts of the Wildcats' history?
Probably with my involvement in, I think it was 1997, Warren Burgess got involved. And from there, he sort of kept them going because a lot of those guys were older and they actually, like Bill, Squizzy and Dave, but more so Bill and Squizzy, went to Myths and Legends because they had a bigger group that they could get into and get into the right age group. Us being younger, for them to play with us, they had to play down, 5 or 6 levels. So then Warren decided that he'd get it going, and Stav and I both went in the same year in, I think it was 2006, and that was our first Pan Packs, and I was at a stage, I was 42, and I was at a stage where I'm thinking I was past basketball. Got there and I just couldn't believe what I saw, people run around that are 80 years old and everything like that. And our first year, 2006, we didn't go that well, but we had a hell of a time. 2008 come along, got a side together. We mixed with a few other guys. There was from Hyenas, which Peter Smart was part of us, and he knew them. And we were fortunate enough to win a gold. So that was, 2 years in, and I'm thinking, how good is this? We've got a gold medal. But as everyone knows, they're not that easy to get. But that was pretty important and kept me going for a fair while too, just enjoy that side of it.
And Sue, for context, can you tell us a little bit about the history of women's Masters basketball within Wildcats?
I probably can't give you too much of the really early history. Hugo can probably do more of that in that I believe there are a number of girls involved that were really high quality basketballers. But my involvement come pretty much when I met Hugo and started going out with him. I went to Pan Packs to watch them 7 years ago, probably nearly 8 years ago now, and decided that rather than just go and watch, that the next time round I wouldn't mind getting a side together. So I think it was the Australian Masters in Adelaide, I just got a couple of girlfriends together and we got a Wildcat side up and running, and we were terrible. We were, we had a ball. We were very good at socialising. We just weren't great at basketball, to the point where we even had some of the referees shooting for us in some of our games. We were losing that badly, but we had a lot of fun. We then had a couple of girls that said that they would continue to play with us. COVID then hit, unfortunately, but we still managed to keep in contact and built a team, which was really the 50 to 55 age group, and from there have built that to the point where we've got 4 sides going away at this coming up PAMPAX, which we're pretty excited about. So I'm not a basketballer, but thankfully we've got some really good girls who do know how to play basketball, and
great administrator,
and we've managed to win a couple of medals along the way since then in Cairns and so forth. So we're going along quite well.
Oh, well done. We see an increased number of teams both at the Squizzy Classic and at Bulleen this year. It's just great to see that the women's competition is now thriving as well.
Yeah, I think it's great. I work closely with Sue Watson and Julia Sant as well. And there's a couple of other teams that we reach out to for tournaments coming up. So, you know, Sue's been fantastic, and so is Julia, at making sure that we can get a number of teams together at some of the tournaments, which is great.
And if we can fast forward to today, Stav, I wouldn't mind you talking about the club that is Wildcats today. How large is the club?
Only 24 hours ago, we tipped over our 300th club member, who found out about the upcoming Moe Newborough tournament, which is in the middle of September, and he found out by another new guy, passed on all the details for the event, and the same result. How long has this been going on? Why do I not know? Which is the normal response from most people who, you know, are still playing open age basketball, and then they find out about Masters Ball and the fun we have off the court as well as on, and they ask the question, how come I don't know?
Yeah, it's sort of the world's best.
It's a hard one to answer.
How do you recruit new members? Because you've been particularly successful at bolting on people who might start off with that kind of a first meet and greet, but otherwise they become loyal and ardent Wildcats over time.
Subconsciously, a couple of years ago, he and I think we just made a decision that, one, we both thought we were getting to the end of it, and we like to have fun when we go away, and I think selfishly we thought, now if we can build a couple of teams, you know, and we could tag on like some of the old guys do and just sit on the bench and go away for a week and have a great time and possibly win a medal and charge up and down the court for a couple of times and still have fun. So why not, let's try and recruit a few new guys. And we just went hard over COVID, and we would talk to anyone that we played with or against and see if they were still involved and see if they still wanted to have fun. And then consequently we decided we need to start structuring up a couple of tournaments in the country, and that's how things have grown really well. But we're miles away because, you know, we keep coming across the same thing. People find out about this and then they ask, why do I not know? And they don't know because, for a couple of reasons. I think Basketball Victoria is lucky in this area of promoting the game for we old people, even though, you know, all these different organisations are trying to promote good mental health and activity for old people. Excuse me, I can say I'm old because I am, and that they promote it, but they don't follow up with it. And so we're doing it.
I might be old, but I identify as young. That's right.
That's the pronoun.
Exactly. Tell us about club culture. No one does dinner and drinks post-tournament better than Wildcats, but more broadly, tell us about the kind of culture that you've built around this organisation.
Culture. Club rules? Tell them the club rules.
Oh, I can't remember, Steve. You tell me every second day, but
There's a no dickhead policy,
yeah.
But we make exception for a couple of people sitting on the couch.
Touche. Club policy. You've got to like people and you've got to treat people well. You must pass the ball and not hog it on the court. And if you don't put your hand in your pocket when you should, you can find somewhere else to play. Apart from that, we don't care if you're not a great player.
No. We
don't care if you're a superstar. As long as you want to have fun and introduce people and treat people good and laugh along the way. If you can sing, that's good. If you can dance, that's good. If you can't, he'll teach you.
And I think an important part of it too is that we remember too, even ourselves, that when we go away to the PAMPAX, the Aussie Masters, we are taking holidays. It is a holiday, so let's have some fun. So let's get together. Yes, on the court, we all take it to, win. We like to, and if we don't, it's not the end of the world. But let's get together and have some fun, so that we come back from the holiday and say, "Gee, I had a great time, and I want to go back and do it again."
Apart from you three, who are the other big personalities in Wildcats today?
Well, starting to recruit a few, aren't we? We've got Paul Dixon and Maddie. They've jumped on board without even asking, and they're doing a power of work.
Yeah.
Warren Burgess has been unbelievable for the club. He's got other things on his plate at the moment, so he's taken a little bit of a backseat, but he has definitely set us up. We've got the individuals that the quiet achievers like the Russ McNallys, the Neil Kleinens, and everything like that. But as a club, we're lucky that people put their hands up, and I think that's the importance of the Wildcats too. They're not just saying, "Well, I don't know, I'll just sit back and do nothing." If you ask someone, and sometimes you don't even have to ask, they just say, "I'll do it." Done. So it's great.
Yeah, we've definitely got a group of girls too that are more than happy to put their hand up. The girls particularly come from, and the men do too, all around Australia. To get uniforms together and all that sort of stuff, or tops. We've got Kerry from South Australia. We've got Amanda who's in Albury. We've got people from all around that put their hands up to help out. So it's great. I think that's what makes us special.
Yeah.
How are the preparations for the Pan Pacific Masters Games in November going?
Oh, really good. Yeah, what have we got?
11 sides.
6 men's teams and was it 7 men's teams? And
Four
ladies teams.
ladies. We've got 2 40s men's, a 45s, a 50s, a 55s, a 60s, and a 65 men's, all full. And then you've got
a 35s, a 50s, a 55s, and a 60s. Still working on some players for the 60s, but I think across the rest of the teams we're tracking well for numbers, which is good.
Am I right in saying this will be a record for the number of teams that you fielded at any tournament?
Yes.
It will be. Yeah.
And can I say, it's not really been we haven't set out to create a great organisation like the Miss. I mean, I've been part of the Miss. I started playing with the Miss. I regularly play with the Wildcats and the Miss when I go away. But what's happened is, someone will get introduced to the club and they'll have a friend that's like, might only be 35 or he might be 42. And, he wants to come away to the Pan Pacs or the Aussie Masters or she. So we go, okay, we've got to find some 35s and 40s. And that's what's happened. So, it's working very well.
I'm keen to look forward and discuss the vision for Masters basketball in Australia, and there's no one better to discuss it with than you three agitators, because you're out there creating new tournaments, taking us into social media and trying things out and certainly achieving some results. And you've heard us talk about this sort of theme before. Adelaide is a place where you can play over 50s and over 60s every night of the week. We've got an over 50s comp now, men's only, at Nunawading. And there's always been a bit of a Masters thing that's gone on down at Corumburra. But otherwise, in large part, the basketball authorities and the stadiums have forgotten about us old-timers. So what do we need to do to get Masters basketball on the radar for stadiums and the basketball authorities?
I have a theory, because in trying to increase the number of teams that are coming to what we call the Latrobe Valley Hoopla in September, I've been trying to get the word out, around Warragul and Traralgon way. It's just been difficult. And it's difficult for one reason, I think. Local association basketball is focused on junior and lower age senior competitions, and it's run by volunteers, and they've been doing all around the state, all around the country. Volunteers do a wonderful job, and I think the last thing they want is another project. So what we need to find, and just this week we've found a couple of new players in the Warragul area, 42 to 46 years of age, that had no idea that Masters basketball exists, and they've taken and run with it. See, so we just need to find, I think as the Adelaide 36s, 7s, Craig Taratha, those guys, they do it fantastically. And we just need to find the passionate people in different districts and associations, like we found at Torquay. We ran the Torquay Masters 18 months ago, and we found Leon Sayers, a passionate president, and an old fart as well. He's about 45 or something, and wanted to play against people his own age. Now he ran with it. He ran the tournament this year. We ran it last year. He's run it this year, and it was awesome. I wasn't able to make it, but it was terrific. Great numbers of teams. Good fun Saturday night. That's really important. So we found a passionate guy there. We found someone really passionate at Wodonga, which is back out Granson. She's a cracker. She just wants to play as well, and the tournament in November there was awesome, and she's run with that. We just need to find the passionate people around the state. If we can get someone Bendigo, Ballarat, that would be wonderful. And then we can fill the calendar of 6, maybe 7 tournaments a year, and that should be good for Old Bones.
And we probably need the councils on board for the facilities too, because it's not cheap for us to hire the facilities and put things in play and make sure we meet all of their requirements, both from a first aid to an insurance and all of that sort of stuff. So it's really important to try and get either the venues on board or the council that owns those venues on board to be able to get them up and running as well. And that's where those individuals, I think, are important that Stav was talking about, that can get up and sort of lobby on our behalf to get that happening, and finding the right people to do that.
I think we do need Basketball Victoria to get on board too and promote Masters Basketball, because as we know, 35 you consider, or even the ladies is at 30 is considered a Masters person, and I think I shouldn't say that, but I think a lot of people think Masters is when you get to 60 or 50. But at 35 and 30, you can keep playing until you're 80. So we need them to promote that, because, as you know, George, there's a lot of people out there that want to play basketball. Yeah. And there's a lot of people out there that don't know about it. So we need them to promote it for us.
Well, tournaments are a great way of getting people involved. And I guess it's been a bit of a journey for us, whilst tournaments like the Surf Coast Classic at Torquay, the Wodonga tournament, the growth that we've seen in the Squizzy Classic, whilst they're now part of the calendar, I guess there's been some other attempts that we've made along the way. There's been MAFRA, there's been SAIL, there's been Macedon. We even tried to pull off the Melbourne Masters of basketball at Dandenong. And I guess unless we go out there and have a swing, we won't attract those first-time players. Unless we try and get into relationships with stadiums, we won't be able to discern which are the good ones and the ones that have got ticker versus the ones that just want to take a booking. So it's great that you guys are continuing to nudge that whole equation. And I think not only should we be doing that in Victoria, but we need to do that across the border into New South Wales and elsewhere. And there's no reason that we wouldn't put some teams together and go up to New South Wales and play a great weekend of basketball if they had the equivalent of some of our regional tournaments.
Absolutely. It's funny, Neil Klein is part of the Wildcats, who came on board with us when we played in the Worlds in Sydney. We got him off the internet, watched the game, blah, blah, blah. And he says, no one does it better than you guys in Victoria. He said, there's nothing here in New South Wales. Now, again, you need that person to do it, or people. But, such a big state, such a big basketball state, but they don't have anything, and you just think, why not?
I think the Megabucks are well suited with, they've got massive numbers to do exactly what we're doing. It takes a lot of work, and at times it's very challenging because even though some organisations say they want to get involved in health and fitness and mental well-being, they either won't put their hand in their pocket or they won't reduce their stadium costs. They've got to make a decision whether they just want to be piss and win, or they actually want to assist people to get off the couch and participate in sport, and not just basketball. The same scenario can be used in a lot of sports around the country.
Well, a shout out to Murray Shields and also John Stiles, who are just like yourselves, agitators, but on the other side of the border, and trying to move things along in that state. Hopefully we can see a future where we've got equal number of regional tournaments up there. I wanted to just talk about your innovations that you've spearheaded. So, starting with you, Steve, you really took Masters Basketball into social media for the first time a little while ago. How did that start, and how's it going?
How did it start? If you ask my wife, she would say the dinosaur who's written English is disgraceful, and she's forever critiquing me. I just got frustrated. So I was, a couple of years ago, I was ill. So I did a bit of couch time, and I was trying to work out how we could develop our masters or develop a structure. And I just thought, and again, I'm not very computer savvy, I do call myself the dinosaur, but I just thought, well, let's just create an open page, and anybody that's involved in basketball in the country and overseas, as it's turned out, if they've got an event going on, or if they are going to a Masters that, you know, we might have been running, and they want a player, or a team wants a player, or a player wants a team, they can, you know, just put themselves on our page and communicate with others, you know, and it's grown. It's still not perfect, but, you know, we've got, in the last month, we've got all these guys from my island, and they have wonderful Masters competitions over there. You know, they've got involved, those found us. Some Spanish guys have found us. Masters are getting played all around the world, and we're not quite, as you discovered recently, we're not quite where we should be. You know, we need some assistance, but yeah, that's how that happened.
Yeah, great.
So how are the numbers going? It's a pretty vibrant channel. People are posting relevant content all the time. I use it for this video and interview series, but otherwise all of our tournaments get announced on the Facebook Masters Basketball Tournament event page. What else is going on in that forum?
It's not quite where I'd like it to be, but and that's probably because there aren't the events in our country that we should have, and you just mentioned on it before, statewide. Yeah, I'm not sure where to from that, to be honest.
So the other innovation that I was keen to talk about is the work that you do around merchandising. Today we can buy Wild Tops hoodies, Wild Tops polo tops, this great uniform, which I think is the best uniform in Masters basketball, but also bags and lots of other things. So tell us the merchandising, the Wildcats Masters merchandising story, because I think it's a great story.
Take it humorously. You know, some of the players can end up getting lost on these weeks away, and, you know, if we had some merch and there were some tops and we were recognisable, then they could be found later on. Might have been misbehaving, or sleeping in an area that they shouldn't have been, or sleeping in a chair, or... But no, seriously, we just, it started to develop, and we had old uniforms, and we had a guy come on board that came from Currumbara and did uniforms, and we were fortunate to have a wonderful sponsor from Tassie, who was a new player, and he wanted to sponsor, and, you know, we had a vet sponsor us, and just people wanted to get involved. So we came up with a design that half of us were happy with, and the other half were happy with, the black and the orange, and yeah, just went from there. And then the ladies needed new uniforms, and Susie came up with your design, didn't you?
Yeah, we thought it was important to, you know, we're lucky with the diversity that we've got in the Wildcats, that we actually had 2 Wildcats members that both did uniforms, and we wanted to support both of those
Nathaniel Slater was one of those.
Yeah, and Pete Donnelly is the other one. And we wanted to make sure that we were utilising both, because they're both Wildcats. So the girls went with Pete for the girls' kit, and he's since come up with these tops as well, and the wind cheaters, and Nathaniel's got the bags and the hoodies and the men's uniforms. So we think it's a good mix where we've got, you know, that ability to be able to get different types of merch from 2 suppliers who do a good job.
And we're herd animals, aren't we? We like to be part of groups, most people. So, you know, it was good. So we're going to have a club song coming out soon. And that too will be humorous.
Yes, great.
So some rapid fire questions and answers from each of you. Your earliest basketball memory, starting with you, Sue. It wasn't that long ago, 7 years.
No, so I filled in for a team at Shepparton. There was a Shepparton tournament on. I just got back from walking Kokoda. Had not played much basketball at all. And the girls were short, so I had shorts and runners with me and decided to fill in. And I may have accidentally coat-hanged a girl as she went to run past me. So that's probably my first memory of and how sore I was that night from playing a couple of games of basketball.
Yeah, mine would. Well, it's not my first memory, but my first representative game for men's. I was 18, playing for Langaffa, and we're actually playing Currabara, the Wildcats. And Bill Jeffs was in the other side, and my introduction to men's basketball with Bill Jeffs still sticks in my brain. That I got to half court running backwards, and he was throwing fists at me. We both got kicked off the court, and that sticks in my head. And he came up to me afterwards and said, "So have you settled down, young fella?" And I think I was in tears at the time, but yeah, that was mine.
Mine. So I moved to Princess Hill High School when I was 13 years of age, and I was extremely fortunate, along with just about every male sportsman at the high school, to be coached by our PE teacher, Harry Farmer, who was an absolute legend. And he was only probably 5 or 6 years older than all of us, and he produced a couple of Australian representatives. I didn't actually play with him on weekends, but some of the older guys, Stevie Gray, Paulie Kalakides, Con Serenatis, actually he played with them at Coburg Stadium, and he was just a wonderful human being and a great basketballer, and taught lots of us. So here's my greatest memory.
And sticking with you, Stav, greatest of all time, the player that inspired you.
Oh, inspired me. I in the early days, I just played basketball because it was something to do, because I was going to play VFL football, because I grew up in Carlton and I was playing for the Thirds of Carlton, and playing basketball was just keeping fit. But I used to see Eddie Palabinskas on Friday nights at Albert Park, and that man was unbelievable. He was a great athlete.
Sue, anyone that you regard as a reference point, a great player that you follow?
Not having followed basketball much at all, but remember watching Lauren Jackson play. And so as a result, I'd have to say Lauren Jackson.
Great. And Higo?
Larry Bird was the man for me when I was a young guy. I just thought this white bloke that was big, fat, slow, unusual shot was just an absolute freak. But at a local level, I played with a guy. His name is Al Whiteman, 5'10". He tried out in Melbourne. They said he was too short, but he could dunk, he could shoot, and he was just a local guy who encouraged all us young blokes to play along. He was an absolute legend too.
I'm keen, Steve, for you to revisit your earlier comment about spending some couch time. I remember talking to you through what was a very difficult time in your life. We caught up at a training session in Bulleen on a Friday morning. And the next time I saw you was at the Pan Pacific Masters Games, the last tournament. During those 2 points, there was a lot going on in your life, and I'd love you to talk about that if you're happy.
I got diagnosed with prostate and abdominal cancer in the middle of COVID. So, I got told I was done and I wouldn't get through it. And it was only that my wife encouraged me to go to the Gold Coast, and I found out 4 days before we went that I was clear at the time, and that there might be some hope. So we went. And we had a great time.
Celebrated hard.
We celebrated hard. I may have gone AWOL for a couple of days. I had a bucket list, you see. When I was told I was done, I had a bucket list of things I wanted to do. And anyway, I tried one of them and it sort of backfired, which meant I went missing for 3 days, which was just something I could not do anything about anyway. So
he won the Cats there.
I won it. Yeah. So the Wildcats have a award, and it's a cat's head. You know, it looks like something that should be on Walt Disney, and if you muck up, you wear the cat's head. Well, I wore it for 4 days, whether I wanted to wear it or not, and every time I took it off, someone put it back on my head. So that's sort of, they're the things we do. That's what we're all about. You know, we want to have fun, and if I can say it now, whether it's part of your interview, what we want to tell people who are sitting on their arse, who may see this, who used to play the game, or even if they didn't, they want to be involved with the group, and not just ours, just in Masters Ball. Okay, you're going to make a fool of yourself starting again. It's going to hurt. You're going to have to do some work. You may not be great at the start. You may not be great at the finish, but you're going to have a bloody good time being amongst people that want to have a good time and laugh a lot and live a little bit longer because they participated in something and stretched and pushed themselves.
Yeah, exactly.
I vouch for that because, as I said, I'd not touched a basketball until 7 years ago, and the welcome that the club get, particularly the guys, because obviously, you know, I was a lone wolf initially trying to get a girls' side together, and the guys were just so supportive and so encouraging and all that sort of stuff. So anyone who thinks that they might want to give it a go, just do it. Like, you know, there's no fear in it in the end. It's just fun.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm keen to find out a little bit about your lives when you're not playing basketball. Starting with you, Higo, what do you do when you're not on the court?
When I'm not on the court, I probably don't get on the court much nowadays. But probably a lot of obviously I've got grandkids, kids myself and everything, which takes up time. I'm only working the part-time thing now, sort of semi-retirement. But honestly, a lot of it is phone calls and what have you with basketball. I'm forever want to chat to someone about basketball, or, chat to Stab every second day, and anyone else I can get interested. So I do spend a lot of time on that.
Yeah, great, and thanks. Sue?
Mine is working, keeping Higo. I go to gym. I love to walk and do things like that. When I can, I try and do fundraising for particular things as a part of walking, like I might do a long walk or something like that. And yeah, spend time with family. Love watching my kids play sport, and Higo's kids play sport. And try and not go insane with my mother hassling me at times along the way. But other than that, just trying to keep active. Yeah.
You mentioned keeping Higo. Does that mean keeping an eye on Higo?
That's a bit of both.
She's only got 2 eyes, she needs more.
It's the full package.
Do you sometimes wake up, Sue, and say, I've really been shot in the arse with a rainbow? Getting a prize catch like Higo?
Priceless, that'll make a good t-shirt.
I wake up sometimes and think, what the hell has she done?
He does tell me regularly how lucky I am.
There you are.
Exactly, you both are. And Stav?
I'm a carpenter builder, and I'm one of these guys. I need to make things. So even though I'm done now, I still need to create something, build something. Yeah, it's just in my DNA. I need to make things. So if you need a pizza oven,
that's another bit of expertise you picked up.
How long do you intend to keep playing basketball?
At the Bull End tournament, I had a work accident in February. So I went to the Bull End tournament, not expecting to play, just coach, but we lost players, and one had to, go to Queensland for his folks, look after his parents. So I played, and I'd not done a thing. I'd not touched the ball since November, and then Jerry got hurt, and I had to play. So I did play. Everything hurt from Wednesday onwards. I couldn't every muscle in my body, but I fired up and things went okay. So I learnt at 66 years of age to push. So I want to play till I'm 70. and I think I should be able to.
Yeah.
As you know, the oldest player in Australia is now 93. Second oldest has just turned 90, and he's going to Panpac. So I think you need to up your quota. So you're just a novice. You've got to keep playing for another 30 years at least. Would you agree?
Yeah, I hope to. I mean, I'm a strong believer that you got to move it or lose it. So I'm going to just keep playing for as long as I can, regardless of age.
And Higo, your knees aren't what they used to be, but you're still running around the court quite selectively. What's the long-term vision?
Well, without these two, I would have retired probably 5 or 6 years ago, but they keep hounding me. I retired after the Bulleen tournament again and got all sulky, and both of them gave me a bit of a slap around the head. But and keep reminding me, like it's sometimes we all do it. We think, gee, I wish I could have done that, what I used to do, but you can't now. You've just got to be happy with what you can do, and if you can get out the court and walk up and down, bonus, you're winning. So I'll do that as long as I can, as long as these two keep slapping me around the head. So.
That's a really good point.
It is.
And I think it stops a lot of people getting involved or continue staying involved because they say to themselves, can't do that. I used to be able to do this, I used to be able to do that. Well, no, you can't. You can't. I have a 42-inch vertical leap. I'm lucky if I can bend over and tie my shoelaces up. But, you just do what you can do, and you'll do one thing in a tournament and you'll go, oh, I'm pretty chuffed about that. It might have been a layup or a jump shot, a fadeaway or something, a good block and setting a really good screen. You'll do one thing that will make you feel good about the whole weekend.
And it's also about seeing others do well. Like, it's not just about you on court. It's about everyone else and what you can do to support them, have fun as well.
Yeah.
It's the mental health thing. I mean, I suffer mental health, and these two, that's why they encourage me so much, because they know I get so much out of it too for my mental health. So that's why I try to encourage it with a lot of like. There's a lot of people I know, I won't name anyone because it's not fair, that I encourage to get involved in it too for their mental health, and they come up and thank me for it. So, it's important. And that's why I love these two, because they keep slapping me.
Hey, I want to say thanks for sitting down with us and having this chat. But a much bigger thanks is owed to Wildcats. You are a phenomenal organisation. You've been able to create brand new and exciting things for us. Social media, but importantly, lots of new tournaments. A record number of teams at Squizzy Classic. You support everything that Myths and Legends does, regardless of what we ask for. You guys are always sort of the first one there. We love playing against Wildcats. We love losing against you. We love winning against you from time to time. But it's just a wonderful, vibrant, healthy, growing, progressive organisation. And behind that organisation is you three. Thanks on behalf of the Masters basketball community.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers. Play hard.